Hey everyone, welcome back. So in the previous lectures, we were using a jQuery method for getting JSON data from a server somewhere. We can get a better understanding of this method in the jQuery documentation. So I have that open here. So this jQuery.getJSON method loads JSON encoded data from the server using a getHTTP request. HTTP is the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is designed to enable communication between clients and servers. And the get method requests the data from the server, and that's what we want to do, connect to a server to get the JSON data. We load the data using AJAX, and AJAX stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It loads data in the background without having to refresh the entire page. The asynchronous part means that our code will send a request to the server, an HTTP GET request as I just described, and continue the execution without waiting for the reply. But as soon as a reply is received, the script will execute any associated actions. So let's go ahead and create a small app like we did before using this method to load some JSON data from a server. So I'm just here on the profile page for CodePen, and we're going to click on New Pen. Wait for that to open up, and we'll just name it something like jQuery JSON API example, and I'll just enlarge this JavaScript section here, and we'll write jQuery.getJSON, and here's where we have the URL of the data. Follow that, the callback function which gets passed the data. Open up that function, and inside here is where we do stuff with our data. And now we need to find the URL for our data. And a great resource where you can find all kinds of data is mysafeinfo.com. So let me just zoom in for you there so you can take a look at that URL. So just copy that address there and paste into your browser just like that. And once you do that, you'll be presented with a page that looks like this. So from here you can click on datasets and then pick a topic. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose nature. Give that a minute to load. And we're going to given a bunch of stuff here to choose from. I'm just going to choose this top one here, bird species. And then I'm going to click on API options. Give that a minute to load. So the format is defaulted to XML. So just go ahead and change that to JSON. Oops. JSON. And the rest of the stuff can just be left at whatever the default is. And we're given a big link here at the top. So you can just go ahead and click on that, and that'll open up our JSON data for us. So as you can see, there's a lot of bird species here listed for us. But we're just going to grab this URL here at the top, press Ctrl+C, jump back to our CodePen. We're going to get rid of this placeholder text we had here, and paste in our link. Perfect. And then we'll display the results in our HTML. But before we do that, one thing we forgot to do is add jQuery to our pen. So click on Settings, go to the JavaScript tab, and quick add jQuery, and then save and close. And now we can continue with writing our JavaScript. So we're going to get rid of this do stuff comment here. Just going to hit backspace. And we're going to use the jQuery selector to target paragraph element dot text, and we're going to pass the data into there. And now let's actually go ahead and add that paragraph element in our HTML as well, because it doesn't exist yet. -p, and there we go, and we get a bunch of objects returned to us. But why is that? Well, jQuery receives JSON data and it automatically converts it to a JavaScript object. So data just contains your object ready to be used. If we want to access the original text like we see on the API page here, we can use another JavaScript method called json.stringify. And that looks like this. It's json.stringify. And between these parentheses is where you add whatever you want to stringify. So we're just going to use this method here. So I'm going to cut that from here and put it into the parentheses here. And we're going to pass it this data, which contains all our objects. And now it'll display everything like it does on the API page here. But this here is still kind of ugly, so we're going to change our code a bit to make it look a bit nicer. So let's actually go ahead and just grab this first bird species here from our JSON data. In our JSON data, looking at it closely, you can see it's inside of an array. So there's our opening bracket for the array and the closing bracket. So it's just one array with a bunch of items. Each item is an object. And we're going to go ahead and access this, target this first object here and grab the name of this bird species here. So if you jump back here, in order to do that, just get rid of this stringify for now. So data, and we're going to get index 0 because arrays are 0 indexed. So it starts at 0, 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So this is index 0. So we're targeting that first object, and from that first object we want the name. So we're going to type data at index 0 dot nm, and that displays the name of that bird species for us. So let's go ahead and get rid of this paragraph element here for now actually, and we're going to replace it with a select element, and we'll give it an ID of birds so that we can target it with our JavaScript, and we'll open that up. And inside of a select element you have several option elements as well. And these option elements can contain information as well. And let me just copy this a few more times into here. And if you look at that in the HTML, you see it gives us a little drop down of those select elements. And what we're going to actually go ahead and do is, instead of hard coding all of these options with specific bird species, we're going to use JavaScript to target these elements here and loop through our data and individually add the bird species like that. So we're going to go ahead and do that in the next lecture. I'll see you there.